America, Wolf. And you remember full well, George W. Bush said, dead or alive. George W. Bush said that getting bin Laden, bringing him to justice, was a singular focus of his administration, that the next president, his successor, and throw parties aside, doesn't matter Democrat, doesn't matter Republican, that a president of the United States could walk in to the East Room of the White House tonight and tell the American people and tell a global audience that Osama bin Laden is dead, that the United States has confirmed it has his body, is a signature moment for the country, for this president, and for the world. And yes, there are many, many questions as to what comes next. Can al-Qaeda regroup? Will it regroup? What will happen in the next 72, 100, 300 hours? Will there be attempts to lash out at U.S. or Western installations around the world by al-Qaeda supporters and sympathizers? That is a huge concern for the United States and for the global intelligence agencies tonight. It is one reason the president is taking his time delivering this speech. They want to make sure that everybody around the world is on alert. But remember, Wolf, the significance of this moment as the president prepares to tell this, not only to the people of the United States, but to a global audience, Osama bin Laden is dead.
And it's now, John, approaching 11:30 p.m. here on the East Coast. The president getting ready to go into the East Room of the White House and make this dramatic statement, an historic statement to the nation, indeed, to the world. And there you see a live picture coming from the East Room. The president will be announced. He will walk there up to the podium and make his statement. It was supposed to be made an hour or so ago, but they're fine-tuning it. They're making sure that all the phone calls are made not only to key members of Congress, but to key world leaders, informing them in advance what precisely has happened. Our Gene Reserve, our Homeland Security correspondent, by the way, has just received a formal statement from Susan Collins, the ranking member of the Senate Homeland Security Committee. Susan Collins saying this, let me read it to our viewers. The director of the National Counterterrorism Center informed me tonight that Osama bin Laden was killed in a U.S. operation. This welcome news is a credit to our intelligence efforts and brings to justice the architect of the attacks on our country that killed nearly 3,000 people on September 11, 2011. On the other part of the screen, you're seeing crowds that are gathering outside the north lawn of the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue. They are bringing American flags. We heard them singing the Star Spangled Banner just a little while ago. Let's listen in to see if we can hear the chanting, the screaming, the excitement that's going on. This is being not only taking place here in Washington outside the White House, but I'm told from Twitter followers and others around the world, people are gathering to celebrate the death of Osama bin Laden, the architect of 9/11, who was killed at a mansion, we're told, outside of the Pakistani capital of Islamabad, and we're told also this was done with the cooperation, the assistance of Pakistani officials. We're not exactly sure whether they're military officials, intelligence officials, but Pakistan, some elements of the Pakistani government were helpful in killing bin Laden. We don't know. As I said, we don't know. We don't know if Ayman al-Zawahiri, the #2 al-Qaeda leader, was killed in this operation. If he was at that mansion at the same time, we'll get some more details. That's coming up. Now, not far from where you saw those crowds gathering at the White House, outside the north lawn of the White House, inside in the East Room, they're gearing up for the President of the United States. The network television pool cameras have been in place now for more than an hour, ready to go, and to broadcast the President's statement to all the American people, indeed, to the world. It's now past 11:30 p.m. on the East Coast, late Sunday night, and we know this occurred many hours ago, but they wanted to make sure this was in fact bin Laden. They wanted to do all the vetting, DNA evidence that's necessary to make sure that the person who they thought was bin Laden was in fact bin Laden. And you see the crowds outside the White House and elsewhere. They're very, very excited. Ed Henry is our senior White House correspondent. This is tape that we had just a little while ago over at the White House. Actually, these are live pictures. We now have a live camera outside the White House. You can see the north portico of the White House right behind them. Ed, what else are you learning?
Well, So dramatic. And when we first reported this, CNN was first reported this about a half hour ago, there were maybe 40 tourists out there. Right now, there are dozens of people from all directions. I can see them through the White House gates, literally running. People are running to the White House gates. You hear the chants of USA, USA. That crowd that started at about 40 people has now grown to hundreds. Pretty soon, I bet it's going to be thousands as they see these pictures. More and more people want to join. And also the social media is spreading the word. And I can tell you, Secret Service officers a few moments ago were literally running up the driveway behind me because they are now trying to make sure that they have this crowd in control. It's obviously a positive crowd, a happy crowd, but they were not expecting this late on a Sunday night. So they are now making sure that that fence at the White House is secure. No one hops over the fence, anything like that. Interesting as well, our producer, Shauna Shepard, was just over there, and she said people were telling her this is the best day ever in American history. There are lots of American flags, people cheering President Obama. One man was holding up a T-shirt that said, "Thank you, President Bush." In fact, I'm told by a Republican official who served in the Bush administration, they had a very elaborate plan about what to do on a night like this. They never got to do it. It's now going to be done under President Obama.
And the president is going to be